Hello everybody, this is a tutorial on how to answer FDP 110, FDP 110, okay? So as you can see, we have a pie chart over here, but the table is blank, okay? So again, when it's problem solving, you need to look at the information that you see in the pie chart, okay? And see what you can use to fill up the table. So let's examine this. We know food is $400. Okay, so I can put in food over here. What else do we know? We also know that transportation, okay, Sue spends $250 a week in transportation. Okay, and what else? We can't solve anything for this one because a lot of information is missing. But is it? So for decimals, we know when we add all of the decimals, it should total to 1. We also know if we add all the angles, it should total to 360 because a full circle has a measurement of 360 degrees. We also know that when we add up all the percentages, it should total 100%. So as you can see, there is a lot of information given already. However, we can't make a fraction on anything because although we have the totals here, okay, let me make this look like a 100. Although we have the totals over here, okay, we have no quantities over here, okay? We have quantities over here, but we do not have the total. So how do you solve this problem? There is still one more clue in the pie chart. Let's look closely. What do you notice over here? Yep, it's that tiny box that says that this particular angle has a measurement of 90 degrees. Okay, that means this is a right angle and therefore the measurement is 90 degrees. So yes, we have enough information, okay, because we know transportation, the measurement of the angle is 90 degrees. So now that we know that the measurement is 90 degrees, we can calculate for the percentage and the decimal. Okay? Now again, a lot of you have been giving me these answers, but you only give me the answers over here and the complete table. I want to see your solutions. I want to see your working out. That is what's more important. Okay? So, now that we know that the angle for transportation is 90, we can calculate, okay? We can calculate the decimal for that one. So how do we do that? So we do 90, oh, it's very thick, okay. So we do 90 degrees divided by 360 degrees, which will give you 0.25, okay? And we know decimals to percent, that means we multiply the decimal by 100, okay? So multiply the decimal by 100. So 0.25 times 100 gives you 25%, okay? And now, since you know that 250 is 25% of a certain amount, we can now calculate for the total amount, okay? Now, if you remember from the prior video, if we do not know an amount, we give it a variable. And in this case, let x equals total, and what are we calculating? Total weekly allowance, okay? We want to know how much Sue gets every week as an allowance, okay? So how do we find that out? If you remember from the other video, okay, a percentage, okay, the percentage of this amount will give you 250. Okay, so we need to multiply the percentage by this amount, the total weekly allowance, to get $250. So let's do this. Okay, I'm gonna do it down over here. So since we know X is the weekly allowance, we know 25% of X. Why 25%? Because that is the percentage of transportation. Okay, so we know if we multiply 25x by the total amount of the weekly allowance, we will get 250. Okay, so 25% of X equals $250. Now you know you cannot multiply by a percentage, so we need to make it into a decimal. So how do we do that? Percent to decimal, you divide by 100. So we have 0.25x equals $250 divided by 0.25. 0.25 x is equal to $1,000. So just like that, we are able to determine that the total weekly allowance of Sue is $1,000. Okay? So, since you know the total is $1,000, now we can make a fraction with food and find the decimal. Okay, so what do we do? Let me expand and let's use another color for that. Let's use green. So, the fraction will be $400 divided by $1,000 gives you 0.4. Okay? And that translates to 40%. So you notice, it doesn't matter where you get the decimal. See, this one I got the decimal by dividing the angle measure by the total angles, the total measure, okay? And then for this one, since I do not have anything to divide here, I use the amount divided by the total amount. 400 divided by 1,000, which gave us 40%. So now, can I calculate for the angle? Yes. What do I do? Okay, so it's going to be 40% of 360. Okay, and as you know, we cannot calculate with a percentage, so this becomes 0.4 times 360 degrees, and that would be 144 degrees. Okay, so 144 degrees. Next, school stuff. Okay, so what can you tell me about school stuff? I don't know. Let's check over here at the given. Okay, can we answer question 1? Let's look at question 1. What percentage of her allowance did Sue spend on transportation? So we're talking about transportation. Do we know the percentage? Yes, there it is. So we can answer this. She spent 25%. She saved $200 of her allowance. So now there is another important information from here. See? She saved $200. So we know the savings is $200. So can I calculate the decimal for that? Of course. Okay? So that would be $200 divided by $1,000 gives you 0.2, 20%, and 0.2 times 360 gives you an angle measure of 72 degrees. Okay? So now, do we know the percentage of our saved allowance? Yes. 20%. What fraction of her allowance did she save on school stuff? So now, how are we going to calculate for this? We know transportation is 250, food is 400, and savings is 200. So you just need to add this plus this plus this and subtract the total from 1,000. Okay? So you have 250 plus 400 plus 200. That will total $850. So subtract this from 1,000 minus 850, you get $150. So for school, she spent $150. What is the fraction? Okay, so the fraction of her school stuff would be 150 over 1,000. Now, both of them end in 0. That means both of them are divisible by 10. So you have 15 over 100. Now, 5 and 0. 15 ends in 5, 100 ends in 0. That means both of them are divisible by 5. So what do you have left? 3 over 20. So the fraction that she spent on her school stuff is 3 over 20, simplified. And can we answer how much Sue's weekly allowance is? Yes, of course. There it is, 1,000. Okay, so Sue's weekly allowance is $1,000. Okay, so I hope this tutorial helps you understand how to calculate with a blank table just by looking at the information given in the pie chart and in the questions themselves. Okay, so let's just finish the table. We know that this is 3 over 20, okay, or 150. Okay, 150 divided by 1,000, which will give you 15%. Okay, and what is 15% of 360? 54 degrees. So there you go. The table is complete. You were able to answer all the questions. Let me just highlight all the answers. So Sue spent 25% on transportation. She saved 20% of her allowance. 3 out of 20 of her money went to her savings, and her weekly allowance is $1,000. Okay, so hope this helps you. Bye bye.